Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dal, and recently we saw a variety of class buffs arrive to Dragonflight, buffs and tuning which sought to achieve better balancing between all of our playstyles. This recent tuning pass attempted to decrease the impact of some of the high-end, high-popularity classes ever so slightly, but more importantly gave a leg up for some of the specific underperformers, and some of these previously overshadowed classes have begun to spend more time in the spotlight. And with us finally getting access to our fourth charge of the Revival Catalyst, catching up a fresh new character with a guaranteed tier set has never been easier. Which means that now might be the perfect time to pick up an old character, something fun and different from the same old main that you've been playing with all season long, maybe even one of the classes that have recently gotten better thanks to the recent tuning pass. In today's video, I wanted to recommend some classes, which are definitely worth revisiting for the Season 3 of Dragonflight, while trying to highlight as many playable roles as possible to give you plenty of variety to pick from. But before we get into this class list recommendation for the rest of Season 3, most of you guys watching this video are still not subscribed. However, the more of you remind, the more of you do, so let's keep it going. Subscribe to the channel and ring the bell if you're watching these videos anyway, especially if you want to get more regular content regarding retail or classic World of Warcraft updates. I think the very first spec worth recommending for you to come back to would be the Windwalker Monk, which as of recently have been getting buffs after buffs after buffs, resulting in a roughly 12% performance increase over the last few weeks. The most recent set of Windwalker adjustments has focused on increasing the value of the Mystic Heron's Discipline tier sub bonus to make sure those blackout kicks are as powerful as they can be. On top of it, we also got even more damage increases for abilities such as Rising Sun Kick for single target and Fist of Fury for cleave situations, as well as some AoE improvements for both Spinning Crane Kick and Blackout Kick, where Blackout Kick can technically cleave multiple targets. Glory of Dawn talent has also been slightly improved, and the proc for Dance of Chi has been buffed by 100% to make sure that getting the tier set proc with Dance of Chi is even more satisfying than ever before. Windwalkers have always had a natural spot within Mythic Plus dungeons specifically, especially as a class that excels in AoE, where enemies are stacked together, or even in smaller group cleave situations. But previously, their damage output has had them below the average of most melee DPS. With this set of changes, Windwalkers have been popping out back up within Mythic Plus dungeons, and I've been seeing a lot more of them either in the low end and even in some of the high-end M+ content. Though this increase to popularity isn't going to make Windwalkers a flavor of the month all of a sudden. I still think that's going to reside with Rogues and Demon Hunters, since both of those have fantastic damage as well as a damage immunity, something that Windwalkers are sorely lacking. But these most recent damage buffs are definitely going to make him a much stronger competitor overall, combined with a fantastic Mythic Plus utility of AoE stuns and even AoE knockbacks, abilities such as Paralysis and even Detox to help out your allies, but also passive buffs such as Close to Heart and Generous Pour. Windwalkers are likely to find some form of a competitive standing within the current Season 3 of Dragonflight. Another class that's an easy recommend would be the Fire Mage. Even though Fire Mages have been far from an unpopular choice for Mythic Pluses so far within Season 3, the recent buffs to mages all across the board have made that entire class even stronger. Whether we're looking at mostly single target increases for the spec of Arcane, or single target / cleave increases for the Frost, the Fire Mage is the one spec out of those three that really stands apart from the crowd. And for many, it was even surprising to see that mages have gotten buffs in general, since their performance within raids and dungeons hasn't been all that terrible before, but with this recent damage tuning, I think mages have easily secured a comfortably competitive spot within any dungeon composition, as Fire Mages are seeing a damage increase to single target spells such as Fire Blast, Pyroblast, and Fireball, which not only improves their single target, but also their cleave capability. Together with Intensifying Flame, which has also been further increased, their Ignite spread is going to be even stronger in some of the smaller encounters, while Flame Strike with a 12% damage increase is going to only bolster further the overall explosive AoE impact. And with already established synergies such as an Augmentation Evoker further buffing this explosive damage of a Fire Mage, but also if you pair mages together with a Demon Hunter who provides additional defense as well as control, so then the mage can focus on overall damage output. This allows Fire Mages to just unleash absolute destruction upon all of their foes, making what was already a fairly competitive playstyle even stronger than before. Another class that I personally think is worth recommending to play for Season 3 would be the Shaman, as all 3 specs of Shaman recently have gotten additional improvements. First of all is Enhancement, which has already been so far a fairly popular choice in both raiding as well as Mythic Plus dungeons, as they gain a slight survivability increase for an already popular playstyle. Elemental Shaman is another one that's actually incredibly fun as of this tier, even though their damage numbers and performance hasn't been able to shine nearly as much as that of Enhancement. But Elemental, especially for Mythic Plus, has recently gained a fairly sizable damage increase to the Earthquake output, which has taken a bit of a backseat in AoE content as they spam out their lava bursts and fireballs in every direction. If you have yet to experience the newest version of the Elemental Shaman, the primordial focused bushfire playstyle is actually quite fun, especially when comparing it to the Season 2 version. Lastly, Restoration Shaman is another spec that's also been buffed for the class of Shaman, as Resto gains additional single target healing increases as well as some buffs to make a healing stream playstyle a little bit more feasible. And while it's hard to really sing praises for Restoration in raiding, in Mythic Pluses they have been, as of this recent week, trailing ever so closely behind Discipline Priest, Restoration Druids, and Mistweaver Monks, which have been the 3 main healers that most players in the community have been focusing on for some of the high-end M+ content. However, if doing damage or healing your allies isn't up to your fantasy, then I would recommend Protection Paladin as a tank to pick up for endgame content. Normally, Vengeance Demon Hunter is one of the most recommended tanks for the current Season 3, with their double sigil playstyle that offers unparalleled crowd control. However, Protection Paladins have found themselves incredibly close to being competitive, almost neck to neck with Vengeance Demon Hunters, especially in certain content like Mythic Plus dungeons. While Protection Paladin has definitely turned out to have one of the least exciting tier sets for all of Season 3, which many of us were really desperately hoping that we'll see some adjustments before the release of the patch 10.2, it seems that Protection Paladin's tier set, while not incredible, is technically numerically competitive, even though it does keep you tied to a consecration even more than ever before. Generally, Protection Paladins have always been one of the best support tanks in the game. Not only are they perfectly capable of being able to take upfront damage and live it just fine, but the additional utility they provide does help them get ahead of all the other tanking playstyles in the game. This becomes even more important with the Mythic Plus dungeons, where prop paladins actually have some advantages. Utilities such as Cleanse Toxins, Blessings of Freedom, and Hammer of Justice, as well as multiple ways to silence foes, does help them easily hard counter certain enemy types and even certain Mythic Plus affixes. With talents like Barricade of Faith and even Sanctuary, this provides them with high passive damage reduction, which allows them to get a little bit more risky when it comes to the numbers of enemies they can encounter at once. Together with potent talents such as Sentinel, Final Stand, and even Eye of Tyr, allows them to pull entire armies of foes, while maintaining threat as well as personal survivability, which allows your DPS counterparts of your party to use their cooldowns even more efficiently to wipe out mobs within a handful of seconds. Another class spec that I wanted to recommend towards the end of this video would be the Destruction Warlock. Just like Fire Mages as well as Windwalker Monks, Destruction has also seen some damage increases as of recently. This hasn't really been enough to make him excel past Demonology, which so far has been the more popular spec of Warlock, but they have been inching much closer to a more competitive standing within at least content such as Mythic Plus dungeons. Specifically because of the new buffs that has allowed a Cataclysm build to make a return, which is one of the most satisfying abilities that I've seen in the game that I actually haven't got to play with in a long while. Cataclysm is a satisfying burst of fiery explosions that sets all of your targets with an immolation, which has also got a bit of a damage buff as well. This immolation spread, which is quite potent with the Mythic Plus content, also plays nicely with the new tier set bonus, which does provide additional AoE damage, but also does enhance your overall mobility since summoning dimensional portals is an instant cast. Together with buffs towards the blasphemies as well as their infernal summons, which gain a little bit more damage with their own immolation aura, this does provide Destruction Warlocks a little bit of a damage increase in big AoE content. as per usual, if you guys enjoyed this video or found it informative, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I would very much appreciate it. And as always, in the description of every single video and live stream, we have a link to our Discord community channel. Probably the best place to reach out to me directly in case you want to let me know what you thought about this video or hang out with the rest of the community to discuss some of the upcoming changes. Join our Discord to become part of the community. But otherwise, thank you all so much for watching this video. I do hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know all of your thoughts down below. And as always, I'll see all of you guys in another video.